Hello and welcome to Admit One, your weekly movie and video game... What? Movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Nedley Thompson, and this week in the flesh, riding eternal, shiny and chrome, I'm joined by Richard Hill.
Hello everybody.
Kristian Lasham.
Witness me.
Witness me. And this one.
Evening, Charles.
Charlie Cooper. How are we all?
Yeah, good. Look, Hannah says, look at you all in one place.
Yay!
And we're very much in one place.
Yeah, literally.
Yes. There is some under-table footsies occurring at all times. Anyway, how are we all?
Yeah, good. Obviously, it's bloody lovely to actually, for the first time, be in. Yeah, I forgot. My mic at home is a bit more sensitive. Sorry. Obviously, it's nice to actually be in the studio. This is the first time I've actually been in this place, and it's wonderful. And I've got Lego envy. There's so many really good Lego sets here.
The only one you can see on camera is the Boba Fett directly above my noggin there. And there are many.
There's many, many others. He's got a lovely X-Wing.
Thank you.
Woof. That's all I'm going to say.
That's it.
Woof.
That's from me.
Woof.
Evening, George.
And woof.
I am also very well.
Good. Done.
That's all I have to add.
Excellent,
I've got so many things to get in on Mad Max.
I mean, there's three of us.
Turns out, by the way, when Rich is around people for real life, he's a child.
I've gone from daddy to the juvenile one, yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. This is Admit One, your weekly movie. And
I'm fine, by the way.
Yeah. Charlie got to us sober.
I gave you several opportunities to answer the
I
question.
was being polite and let the other guys going.
Well, that was your mistake. This is Admit One, your weekly movie and TV podcast right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing, what you're doing is watching us. You can follow us on Twitter at rabbithole_UK. You can subscribe to us on YouTube where you can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch at Rabbit Hole Media, and you can subscribe and follow on multiple different podcast services on and around the internet.
Indeed.
Better.
Yes.
Better.
Who knew in person it would be better?
And now you can follow us on Instagram at rabbitholemedia_UK for all the behind the scenes tits and bits. If you would like to support us, you can head to merch.rabbitholemedia.co.uk where you can find a wide range of merchandise that has just gotten wider. And finally, if you are watching live on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you get one free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your heart to give that membership to us. It doesn't cost you a penny. It goes a long way into helping us do this.
This thing. All of this.
Right here.
Presentation.
Can I just say, I'm a bit mixed with the chat from Katie on the basis that she has
Definitely
talked about my...
demasculated you.
Well, no. She talked up my nether regions and then basically said to us to stop singing.
She was right on both counts.
Anyway.
This week we are here talking about my passion movie from the director of Happy Feet, Mad Max Fury Road.
Is that genuine?
Yeah.
That's insane!
Oh,
I didn't know that!
that's ridiculous. That is such a weird...
I didn't know that either. Didn't know that at all.
What shocked me, by the way, is not that it's the same director, it's that you didn't pick Happy Feet. That's what shocked me.
Never seen it.
I don't think you
I've never
should.
seen Frodo as a penguin. It's Elijah Wood, isn't it? Did I make that up?
I don't know. I've never seen Happy Feet.
I'll
I
tell
have
you
no
what football
intention
you're
of watching Happy Feet.
I don't know. We must find out.
But no,
Later.
must we?
Later. Mad Max Fury Road, released in 2015. Quite a while ago. But the most recent of the movies we will be watching is this little
Yeah.
segment.
By quite a considerable amount.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a chunk. I'm going to go round the table and get everybody's opinions. And as I ignored his well-being, Charlie, you could go first.
Well,
That's it. Good. It's another fifth element.
why break tradition? Bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think on this one, I think that's even more apt than the other.
Fifth element is stranger. Let's just...
Come on, Charlie, a bit more of that.
I'll tell you what, it was a fucking roller coaster. Visually, wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's very much it.
Gorgeous looking film. I found myself quite a lot just going, have I missed something?
Yeah, 3 films.
Yeah, true, very true.
This is the 4th in a chronological series.
I looked up
I realised
whether or
that.
not I needed to watch the other 3 first, and I was told no, so I kind of expected to follow it a little bit more.
I was going to ask that, but obviously you bringing up the other 3. There is no need to see the others.
Hannah in the chat.
Yeah, well done, Hannah.
Wasn't
Thanks,
it?
Hannah. Great to have you here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, not really. Considering there isn't even a need to watch the other 3 when you're watching the other 3.
That's true.
So, like any of the other
I
ones,
did start watching the first one and gave up very quickly.
it's not
I
good.
try to avoid
Okay.
Mel Gibson at every opportunity. So.
It's a fair assumption. A fair assumption? A fair notion
Yeah,
to
yeah.
avoid Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
that is a very fair thing to do indeed. Kristian.
I don't think it was that weird. And I'm
Okay.
not sure where the notion of it being weird has come from personally.
The War Boys and the big man with the Immortum Joe,
the
Yeah.
flaming guitar.
the flaming guitar.
Hang on, what did you call him, Joe?
Immortum.
Is it not immortal?
No.
It's
Am I having
Immortum.
another atom? And
Yeah, I
Adam?
think
You
it's
are.
I think it's Immortum
I always thought
Joe.
it was Immortal Joe.
I watched it with subtitles.
Oh, okay, it's Immortum.
Immortal. Okay.
Basically, I watched it without any idea going in what the film really was about, and also haven't seen the original 3. I'm not that familiar with the franchise. I did not. I had a great time.
Okay.
I really enjoyed my time watching it. I wouldn't say it's my favourite film of all time in any sense, but
It's not even mine.
and I have a lot to go into on what I did really like about it and what I think it did. There are many parts of this film which I think it did so well, so unbelievably well. I can see the notion of it being weird. I think Sam's just hitting it on the head there. It's bonkers rather than weird.
Yeah.
Because
I think
everything
so.
at the same time is kind of like, it'd be weird if it was actually happening, but it's a film and there's a setting to it, and it's like, okay, I get it. And at first, with some of the stuff going on, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. What are these? Who are these people? Why are they like this? What's going on? Who's this person? But as the film goes on, it all actually makes sense. It kind of isn't weird, because everything's kind of explained and described and has a certain amount of rationale behind it, which allows you to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit and go, oh yeah, cool, I get it. So no, I had a really good time, and echoing what Charlie said, it's gorgeous, and as you predicted, I have many production things.
So
Because
that
the
will be the rest
production
of
is
it.
absolutely where this film stands out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I like it. How about Rich?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I must admit, watching it this time round, because I've seen it before, and I tried to get Katie to watch it a little while back ago, and she didn't really enjoy it to the point that we actually sort of stopped watching it. Absolutely fine. Not everybody's cup of tea. I must admit, watching it this time, I didn't enjoy it as much. And I think it's really I know I'll leave in a minute, it's fine, but no, it's just something that film, obviously we kind of said about things like Fifth Element maybe needing to be a little bit shorter and stuff, but for me this film could have been a lot shorter.
Yeah.
That was my personal thing in terms of it was a long car chase. Obviously Hannah put it in the chat earlier about being a long car chase, and it's a very long car chase, and I just think that there could have been a bit of cutting down on my for me.
That's fair.
But yeah, production-wise, visuals, everything, 100%, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys especially think of it, mainly on the basis that you guys know this stuff, more than I do, and I don't know about Charlie. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's something that I'm looking forward to hearing your kind of input as well.
Yeah. I love this film because for every step of the way, it should be dog shit. It should be. This film took 20 years to make.
Did it?
It's a sequel to a film that came out more than 30 years earlier. Either of those on its own is a red flag, let alone put together. And the fact that obviously being so late after the other films, they're recasting and changing everything. And the fact that the third one was really, really shit. And that's by Mad Max standards. So everything was just like, this should be awful. And it's a film where the main character doesn't really say anything.
Yeah.
Well, the titular character, I'd say the titular character and the main character are two different people.
Yeah. So can we agree that the main character is actually
Furiosa, yeah.
is Furiosa?
Yeah. I'm really glad that I thought I was going insane. I was like, It's not the main character. Sure,
Yeah.
he's just not. I thought I was just me. So
One of two examples off the top of my head where I can think of the titular character and the main character are two different people, and the other one is Infinity War, where the main character is Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly
absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, this should be awful. And then I love this film for the same reason I love John Wick, and it was kind of what you were talking about with action movies. I can't remember, with Mortal Kombat.
Excuse me.
I do apologise. They've kind of come up with all these set pieces and then just gone, right, we can just do this to stitch it together, and they've done it properly. Like the amount of stuff that was just done as opposed to CG car chases.
Oh, yeah.
That will-
And that was one of the things I was going to praise so much about this film, and I was going to use that exact situation we were in last week with Mortal Kombat, where, to me, this is another complete masterclass of how to make an action movie where you're making a movie because you want to do the action, but doing it in a way that makes sense and is comprehensive and ties together. Whereas Mortal Kombat was the example of it. We're going to focus on a plot, but the plot isn't really why we're doing this.
Okay.
We're doing this because we want to make a fucking awesome car chase
Yeah.
scene that goes on for 2 hours. There'll be a plot, that'll make it make sense, but that's not the reason we're doing this. And they don't focus on the plot enough to distract you from the spectacle of it, which is what you're supposed to be enjoying.
Yep.
And I did. All of the thing I'm supposed to be looking at going, fuck, I was the entire time. So
Yeah, no,
that's
it's-
where it gets its praise.
It's really
Yeah.
good. There are some things I noticed watching it in 4K because I've never seen it. Well, I saw it in the cinema, but that, at the time it was obviously brand shiny and new, so there's not a lot to point out. There was a couple of bits where I was just like, not during the car chase stuff. This was all like before or after car chase stuff. Where you're just like, that is a very obvious green screen.
Yeah.
Or some really
Apparently
strange.
I'm quieter than the rest of me.
Than the rest of you?
Yeah.
I don't want to know how loud that is. Do you need me to do anything on the...
I am channel 13, 12. Channel 12 is me. If you turn up, what is number 12?
So just up a little bit on the...
Yeah. What about now? Is this better, or do I need to be...
You don't need to shout, that's the whole point of me changing the volume.
What about now? Is this better? Do I need to be louder still, or are I still obnoxiously quiet compared?
Good, okay.
Anyway, yeah, so there's some very odd lines of dialogue as well. I'm just like,
Yeah.
why? I don't understand why you say that. In particular, one of the wives. One
Yeah.
of the wives just kept saying really strange
Yeah,
things.
sort of almost like it was. Sorry, again. I'm having a conversation with you. That's that's what's going through my head. Is it's not a podcast. Yeah, it was almost kind of like a prayer sort of thing.
I'll get into that in a second.
Fair. But yeah, it was almost like a prairie kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. That was never explained.
Should we spoil it?
Oh yeah, spoilers.
So yes, I think everybody's seen it in the chat.
I would assume so.
Apart from Katie, who's not seen all of the film.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. To what Hannah said, the CGI for that final explosion was appallingly fake. That is because it came out in the height of something needs to be 3D. That's what that was.
Okay.
Was it a 3D film?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
didn't
the
know
only
that.
thing and it was that final explosion, and yeah, all the things that were spinning around and like trying to do that perfect spin so it frames up perfectly for camera, and you're just like, that's not how things move.
Okay.
And just everything flying, like the guitar flying perfectly
Yeah,
dead
yeah.
on
Yeah.
to the
Makes sense if it was 3D.
and then the steering wheel doing the exact opposite,
I
spinning
didn't
around.
really have a problem with any
I
of
don't
that
have a-
because
I don't have a
the
problem.
whole film was obnoxiously rigged in that kind of manner with the way things happened. So, I mean, the fact that there was a guitarist playing the entire time.
Can I just say that out of the whole film, that was my favourite bit.
It's really cool.
Which bit? Oh, the guitar guy.
Yeah.
Laughed so fucking hard when they showed that guitarist at the front of the lorry, and it was like, what? And then the flames come out, and I just cracked up. It made me laugh so hard.
I loved it. It's just the idea and the way they used that and we mentioned this word the other week, the non-diegetic.
No.
But like the combination of it kind of not being either, it
Okay.
was really clever because he was playing the guitar, which was part of the music, but there was a whole bunch of other musical accompaniment there.
Yeah,
with drums and
on the
everything
back,
else.
yeah.
The drums are on the back, so the drums are there. But yeah, there's loads of strings and stuff there as well, and just
It's
to
really,
make it.
I think it's really clever. I really like it.
Yeah, it was well
And I
done.
like the
Imagine
idea that
being
they're
in a-
going into their war party and like, if we're going to do this, we need a fucking banging soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was like a proper kind of metal-y kind of thronging sound.
I was ready for all the music to be Duran Duran
That would be very funny.
because of the war boys. I was another thing that made me laugh at that. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna do that. They won't, but I really want.
It would be very funny. Yeah, I don't even know when this is meant to be set. To be fair.
Post Duran, the world ended.
Yeah, but these films depends because this is obviously a sequel to a film that was set in the 70s.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, fair enough.
So, shall we, in terms of plot and stuff, shall we just talk about what Hannah's just said, and that's that there isn't, that it's essentially all pointless because they go back to where they were.
Yes.
Obviously,
To a sense,
but
but
it needs to have.
it needed to have happened. Yeah,
whatever his name is, Joe.
They needed to have gone away to have the opportunity to come back in the manner that they did, and then take over. You've just been
Oh yeah.
Duran Duran
I
was
know,
Wild
I
Boys.
know,
Not.
I'm fully aware.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
didn't
I was
know.
not.
I was saying it sounded like they were saying
Oh, I see.
Wild Boys in that the way they said it.
I see. Fair.
I
Fair.
didn't get the reference.
No, neither did I.
Shut up, youngster.
Yes.
Get out of my house.
youth and all that. So the plot was marginal. There were obviously details you're just like, I feel like it's darker than it needs to be in the whole freeing the wives that were locked in a safe just so they could be bred with, which is
which was awful. And,
this is not a nice person.
And I could be wrong, but I think that's Katie's main issue with the film in terms of just that as a plot line and the sort of being held against will,
Misogyny on
which is
steroids.
completely fair.
It's another scenario though where the overall driving plot is this isn't okay. And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to resolve this issue. And I think I like that Mad Max's motivations are fairly non-existent, really. But what he realizes is quite at least the impression I got. Mad Max is going, oh, this is a bad thing that's happening. I should help these people because I can.
Only after he kind of thinks about himself to start with.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah, but like that's how character development works.
Yeah.
So you
Well, that's
have
the
to
whole
have
thing.
that element
This is one of
100%
those.
Katie.
This is one of those films where the main character just happens to be there. Like, nothing would have necessarily been different if he wasn't there. Obviously, he helped, and they might not have made it.
He did fuck some shit up.
He did,
There was
absolutely.
there's the point where he's just like, right, you move the thing, I'll be back, and he just like goes off into this sandstorm or whatever.
This is
And-
this massive explosion, and he just
and
comes
then he
back.
just comes back dragging things
Yeah.
and covered in
Yeah,
blood.
I
and he's
really like that bit.
What?
Yeah.
So good.
I did really like that
A little
particular
bit disappointed
sequence.
that I didn't see what he did.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of bits.
They ran out of money.
And by the way, that's also I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
We done?
And that's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? I've
Mad
completely
Max
forgotten.
Fury Road.
Yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, thank you. That comment is too long to have even started reading.
Oh, we can't see it all. Damn it.
When I rewatched it to give it a fair chance 6 months later because everyone said how brilliant it was, and I didn't like it this time either. Saw it in UHD and it was beautiful, but I just didn't get it or
I think that's
like
Hannah.
it.
Yeah.
That would be Hannah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
Yeah, 100%.
you're wrong.
You're not wrong.
I jest. I jest. I think, it's one of those films that I absolutely fucking love. It's one of those things that everyone's like, you know, have a good movie I could watch. Fury Road. It's always the first one that pops up into my head. But if someone goes, you suggested a bit of a wrong in there, I'll be like, yeah, fair. If Keanu Reeves made John Wick, he did. Sorry, no. What's the other one with the cars? Fast and Furious. Where they do it properly and it's not they're going off to space. A quick what you've missed with the other three is his family died. That's the little girl that keeps popping up in his head.
Oh, okay.
So the other question I was going to ask is Mad Max the Mad Max from the first one?
Yeah.
Or the first three? Okay,
Yeah,
right.
it is. He is playing that same Max Rautanowski or something. Rotanansky or I can't remember what
And
his
it's
first.
just saying, no, Jack, I'm pretty sure I didn't like it.
Three times is enough
Oh,
checking
God,
to make
yes.
sure. Yeah, fair enough. That wasn't his daughter. Was it not? She called him Pa at the end.
Yeah, but...
She started calling him Max, but at the end says Pa. I think that's the whole.
okay.
I
Yeah, I
mean, if
can't
you
remember.
could tell us who it was, Hannah.
Okay, cool.
It was a girl called Goldie.
Right.
She was probably from one of the films. Either way, his family died.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't his daughter, but that's what I took away from it. Anyway, and the world has run out of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously got that concept, and the big dude, I can't remember his name, has all the water, which means he owns everything, which makes sense.
Pretty
It does
much.
make sense. In the
He has the
post-apocalyptic
water-
desert.
he has the
anyone,
wa- yeah,
anyone who
the-
has the water is
It's
very
the
much in
valuable
control.
commodity.
Yeah, and they established the three major towns. There's the water, the gasoline, as they call it, and the bullet farm.
Bullet farm, yeah. Which again, I really all of that.
There
is
was also oh yeah. Okay, that definitely confirms.
Fucking rich.
What?
Well, that was at me.
It was you.
Yeah, it was
I
me.
was thinking of fucking
Use your
Atomy.
words. Use your words.
Oh yeah,
Right,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Use your words.
I refuse.
I will babble.
I will babble on. And yeah, there's no water, so obviously the bit they were driving at before they decided to turn around was obviously the sea, and the
Yeah.
salts were
Yeah,
just
for sure.
the sea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because all that's left is.
I did think it was
Salt.
quite interesting. Obviously, the idea that different towns were for different things.
This is, yeah, it's just the warlord in charge of that particular commodity. One water, bullet, and
Yeah.
I wonder what
Gasoline.
direction Burger Town was.
south.
So-
The south. Yeah, I just really. I can always enjoy watching this movie. Just, but yeah, I know it's not amazing, and I'm not going to sit there going, "Oh, it should have won an Oscar," although I think it did.
okay.
Scrotus.
So-
What's her name?
So
is water.
George was just saying about this girl Max failed to save from Immortum Joe's son Scrotus, which is an amazing name.
It is.
This is covered in the new Mad Max game. Ah, okay. Has anybody played the Mad Max game?
No,
Yep.
but I downloaded it last week.
Good.
I have.
Not the same.
Any good?
It's all right. It's a nice game to just turn your brain off, and it's one of those Ubisoft maps checkbox. Just go and do all the different things around the map.
Katie,
type
there is
games.
some water. It's just that Immortum Joe
Has it all.
Yeah.
And he's dug it up from underground. So it's like the world's overheated and dried up, essentially.
Yeah.
Is what's happened there. Sure, some crazy English woman who won for best costumes. Yeah, probably. I can't remember. I will look that up when among talking. That's pretty much it for plot.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Not a
tons
huge
of-
amount happens. And in terms of, we can before we go into production, because that is going to be the rest of the entire show.
Yeah.
Essentially, we can talk about. There's obviously a few prominent characters throughout the film. Obviously, Max Furiosa. There's obviously some of the escaped wives have more of a role than the
Yeah.
other. Was one of them Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I was,
Another one was in Game of Thrones. And then
Was it?
one of them, the one that dies is
in
a model.
Transformers.
And in Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are some characters that have more of a role than others. There's obviously Nicholas Holt. I can't remember his name.
Yes.
Nux.
Yes.
Nux.
Yeah.
I thought he was good.
I thought he was good.
Larry and Barry, obviously very important characters.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. God, yeah,
His
I forgot
tumours.
about that.
His tumours, and there's a couple of the villains obviously have a bit of a role as well, but nothing
there's-
major.
Seems to be a lot of people with those sort of tumours, cancer sort of thing. I
Yeah.
picked up again in the sort of like the news reels that are being played. There've been some sort of nuclear war, so I'm guessing there's a radiation sickness or something. That's
There were radiation
that.
system, and also just
They've not
that
got
and
sunscreen.
inbred,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and they've not got sunscreen.
All that
and not got
sun,
sunscreen.
Yeah,
yeah, and so it'd be a combination of all that. They're not exactly the finest of
There's
the
not
bunch.
any Barocca about they can go and maybe if they did, they could pick them up and they fizz up because they got no water.
So apparently, I will admit I wasn't listening to Charlie there. I do apologise to you,
Probably
boy.
good idea.
It was Jason Statham's wife that died in the film. Okay,
Oh,
didn't know they were married.
She was the one that was pregnant that just wouldn't
Yeah.
fucking sit down.
Yeah,
Yeah. So all the things she had done should have been done by the others,
yeah.
other than the other blonde one, because they
There
do
was
mention
loads of
she's
points
pregnant as
where
well.
They would all just just do as you're told.
Yeah.
Like
Sit up.
you are not the people here that have the
Experience
the
and-
experience to deal with this situation. Just do what you're told. You'll
No, but I know this was a movie about driving, but some of the gun moves were so cool. Just driving along and then Furiosa reloading, moving, and then Max just like bam.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the tingles they happen.
Can we just go do production?
Are we done with characters already?
I hadn't got into any. What do people think of Furiosa? Because obviously
I'll
she's
go with this time code then.
she's obviously the lead, and that's kind of the. There are 2 follow-up movies in production.
Yes.
One is
Supposedly.
mainly about Furiosa. Yeah,
Supposedly.
supposedly one of them's been in production and was meant to release in 2018. So
Didn't happen.
God knows what's happening with that. But it's still in Tom Hardy's IMDb, so who knows? But there's also a prequel for Furiosa happening. What do people think of Furiosa?
I mean, she's handy with a gun and a truck.
And she has one arm.
She has one arm, yeah. I mean, for me, again, like the characters and stuff like that just aren't the things I have much of an opinion on because it's all serviceable. So like all of those parts, the plots, the characters, the narrative is all serviceable for the big action sequences in a way that works.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like my compliments of this film are. In terms of talking about the characters, like, yeah, cool, fine. Did what it needed to do. She was entertaining to watch. Had some cool sequences, some cool scenes. But like she never really says anything overly poignant or anything like that. And none of them do, but they don't need to. So I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, but I don't have very much to say on the characters personally.
No, that's fair enough.
Not where I see the value with the film.
I agree. I mean, she's cool. Yeah, absolutely, she's cool. She's a badass, but
I think that's it. Is a very, very strong female lead, and that's a very good thing.
Yeah, I haven't really got too much to add to that. Just cool character. See what happens in the prequel. Interested in a bit more of the backstory. Maybe how she lost that arm.
I bet you it was an angry cat flirkin.
Flirkin.
Wrong franchise.
Flirkin.
Yeah, flirkin.
Goose from Captain Marvel is a flirkin.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, forgot about that. Sorry.
You're going to get disbanded.
I only watched it once, and that was only a month or two ago.
Exactly, it should be in the height of your brain.
I'm just going to stand it like this.
I will say I thoroughly enjoy watching Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
I like Tom Hardy.
I will say some of his ADR was a bit weird.
Now that's just Tom Hardy. That's very normal for Tom
You
Hardy.
mean Bane?
That's really normal
Sorry,
for Tom
you
Hardy.
say ADR. I'm sorry, I've got to get that clear.
It's essentially where you record audio after the fact. You film it and then you re-record it
so
over
you
the
almost
top.
like dub it over.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Exactly that.
I should have just said overdubbing.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is a what the bloody hell does ADR stand for? I'm well annoyed myself.
Additional dialogue recordings.
Something like that. Yeah, I think you might be right.
That sounds good.
I'm pretty sure it's additional dialogue.
You'd make
or
a good
something.
dad. You'd just go, yes, this is it. Trust me, I know.
I think it's additional dialogue recording.
But yeah,
Because it usually happens in action films with like the grunts and the screams and the stuff. It's usually done afterwards, just because obviously with all the shuffling about it.
Automated dialogue replacement.
Mine sounds better because
yeah.
there's nothing automated about it. It's a very manual process.
Sam's
They've
saying
got Siri
additional.
to go over it. Like,
Hello. Yeah, right, fine, Kristian. We'll move on to production for
No, I
you.
was gonna say, like, I think Tom Hardy was very, very good in it.
Yeah.
He's good at action stuff and he's great in a fight sequence. And that's why I think he's great at Bane. And he's really good in the film where he does a terrible Welsh accent where he's a fighter. The MMA
Fighter.
Fighter.
Yeah, it's called Fighter,
that's the
yeah.
one. And
You mean Warrior?
still Warrior.
Oh, no, Warrior.
either way,
He doesn't do a Welsh accent in that film.
Yeah, he's American.
Oh,
in
not
that.
American.
He
That's
does a Welsh
it.
accent in Locke, and that
Yeah.
is a terrible
Yeah,
accent.
thank you. They should stop giving him accents to do. That's the one thing. Tom Hardy.
He's also a very good actor without speaking.
Yeah,
I was going to say, just
he's
don't
a
give him
very
any
good-
lines.
He's a very good visual actor, and he fucking legend.
Yeah. I love that film.
Oh, what
He's incredible in
And
that.
should have been maybe the one I picked. It is.
You've still got time.
Can we do that as the fifth one?
No.
But I think his role in this is something where he is particularly good, and he sells every fight scene and every little nuance. That he's great. He's really, really good at that, and I really enjoyed watching him all the way through. And even his little bits of dialogue. Okay, some of the ADR was a bit odd. ADR is hard to do well anyway.
For sure. For sure.
It's very, very hard to do because there's so many things that go into recording audio, and audio is so different based on location and everything else. So getting that correct is hard, and it's
And also just to make it accurate to how your mouth's moving the first time is just nigh on impossible, and it's one of those uncanny valley things as well. It's just
there will always be a little bit of
a little bit off. That's why it's usually done with just screams and stuff, because there's a very limited amount of facial expression you can do when you're just screaming.
Yeah, but yeah, I have. Well, when I said a minute ago that I didn't have much to say on the character, I do have a lot to say on Tom Hardy, which is just he's very, very good.
Fair
Not
enough.
a lot to say at all. He's very, very good. That's what I have to say.
He is very good. He is very good indeed. I concur. Right, the meat. We've done the potatoes. Let's do the meat. Production of Mad Max Fury
And this is where
Road.
Charlie and I just go,
Yeah. Should we go to PS5?
bloody good, wasn't it?
It was.
It's
It
really
was
good.
very good.
It's really very good.
The pole men.
Choreography and action
Yes.
sequence stuff, one thing, but I mean from like a technical production point of view, when we're talking about cinematography, the use of sound, the use of the sound mix, the use of color in that film is extraordinary. Like, so very good, the use of color. I'm ignoring that. I'm intrigued, before I go in, I'm intrigued to see what you two did.
Charlie up first,
Because you both mentioned it looked gorgeous, so I'm intrigued to see what stood out to you as the things that looked gorgeous.
Threw me under the bus there, thanks.
Yeah, look, I just want to give you more opportunity than me saying all the things and then you going, yeah, that.
Basically, all I wanted to, because you said when you started that it looked great, I just wanted you to elaborate on why you think they look great.
The first thing I thought, I got the 4K version that I rented. I've got a 4K HDR TV as well, so I was like, okay, we'll definitely watch it at its best. And just the first thing, just the way the colour looked, as simple as that, just the pure picture of the sky in the desert.
It's very orange.
It is very,
it's
very
just
orange.
so vivid.
It's that perfect, the colour correction work and the colour work on that film in general, the contrast between orange sand, bright blue sky, is so vivid.
Yeah.
And it just makes for something really good to look at.
Definitely.
See, I was misled in the world of science throughout my entire life. I was always led to believe that, I don't know why, because I know water has no colour, but I was always led to believe that the sky was blue because of the water. Not that the water was blue because of the sky. So I just had a random thing of, would the sky even still be blue? I just went to Google. I was like, would the sky be blue?
Hannah just pointed out that the night shots were done the day, then nighttime. Like, yeah, it was shot.
Oh, absolutely. They just
shot
went
day to night, but there is a very clear, obvious reason why, which is they are shooting very, very detailed action scenes. The nature of shooting anything with a camera is cameras need light to work. If you don't have light, they do not work. Simple as that. So shooting at night, you wouldn't see the detail of all those action scenes. So it's a better production choice to shoot it for day and nightify it, and then that gives them more options with colour as well. So I think
more options with colour, and I just think with the contrast to the very orange to the very blue, like they obviously made it more blue than they needed to.
Yeah.
And I think that just stands out. And then when you had the muzzle flashes and the explosions and all of that at night, it just stood out so much more, and it looked really good.
Yeah, and what like those sections made for some. So when they were doing the day to night scenes, like they're carrying some candles and stuff like that, and there's really not like a clear blue hue for the day to night, and then just in the middle of the picture, perfectly vignetted, this bright orange
candle,
glow with such a huge contrast, and that just makes for something really interesting to look at. And it's not done for any kind of subliminal reason. Whereas some films, I'll sit and pick at the production and go, oh, they've done this thing in this particular way to create this effect, which creates this illusion of this. It doesn't do that. It just looks fucking cool. But they do it in such a way where all it's like, yeah, this is great. Like pretty much all the time.
It is really cool.
It looks so good. Long message from Hannah. I'm just going to read that quick. To be fair, by the time that happened, that guy shot the machine gun and I had a shaking fit. I couldn't speak the next morning. Well, I'm very, very sorry to hear that, Hannah. What we need to do is stop suggesting you watch films that have all these
actions. Hang on, how were you anywhere near alive at the end of the zombie film that you were watching? Because surely that is what was it?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Also, how did you survive? How did you survive the storm?
Yeah, the storm must have been hell, Hannah.
That must have been.
Because
really
that is, yeah.
We probably should figure it out and then give some form of warning beforehand going forward.
Probably.
As opposed
I
to.
haven't seen it. This isn't on me.
This is on me. This is on me.
Yeah.
This particular incident is definitely on me. But obviously, we don't really want the declining health of
Hannah on
of
our
a viewer.
hands.
Yeah.
I think we're all right with Hook though next week, aren't we? No.
I don't think there's any raves in that movie.
No.
Any gunfights. It's all.
I was just thinking through life with Brian then, like, oh shit, is there anything else? No, probably fine.
They didn't have strobes back then.
They didn't have spaceships either.
Joking, well, that's true. Joking aside, if we do go down the route of Blade, which of course is something that we need to think about,
literally the opening scene.
Yes. So
Yes.
Hannah, you obviously we will talk later because we need to actually sort this out fully about the fifth film that we're going to do. But there is a whole section. Didn't really. There is a whole section which is a rave, and there's going to be a lot of strobe lighting. But yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, Han says, I didn't really. There was lots of looking away, and Matt has to tell me when I can look again. That's the longest I've ever lost speaking for. Another reason to hate this film. And that's a pretty fair reason to hate a film.
Hey, bad!
Extreme sports!
That is definitely extreme sports coming in and going, wait, you're all in the same room.
Yeah. rather than a rave scene in Blade. I think you might know that, but yeah. Yes. Yeah, the nightclub scene at the beginning, yes, Hannah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I only know it because I played the Blade game.
There was a game?
PS2.
There
It
was.
would have been the era where there was a game for everything.
Every single
I
just
remember
remember that.
there was a Blade 2 game, yeah. There was a Blade 2. I don't know about Blade, because Blade came out long before the PS2 did.
Oh,
Right.
I'm thinking, well, there's a nightclub thing anyway.
No,
Hang on.
It's probably based on that.
Yeah.
Extreme sports, you know we love you. We do. We honestly do. But fucking join us on socials, because this is why you need to be on the socials, because this was a thing that we couldn't avoid, but we had to move it to Sunday, and it was a frustrating thing, but that's why we put it on the socials. Join us. Join us. Anyway, right, where were we? Production.
Something about production.
Pretty, innit?
Blue.
Pretty in it. I will say, I'm a big fan of sort of vivid colour and bits and pieces. I used to be a. Thank you. The socials, God, I hate the phrase. Yeah, I agree, Sammy, but I mean, yeah, can't do much about that. But yeah, I'm from a photography background, and I used to work in a portrait photography studio where we used to do a lot of vibrancy with the contrast and the tone and colour and this, that, and the other. But I will say there were elements of this film that were, in my opinion, a bit too much. Like The Storm, I just kind of found it a bit too, like, obnoxiously bright and colourful and contrasting.
Everything was done to the extreme.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
I can appreciate how that some people can see that, and you might see that as something that's not good.
I can only pretend, mate. I can't actually do it, so I've got to pretend. All right.
But yeah, no, I get that, because everything was done to the hard extreme,
Yeah,
and this
for
that
sure.
goes into the mix as well, the sound
Yeah.
mix.
Okay,
like,
fair
everything
enough.
was done to the very hard extreme, and like that's deliberate. But I can understand why someone might look at that and go, "This is too
much.
overwhelming."
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much information for me to intake visually, and that can get a bit much. I need a social link. I see you have the internet and computers now. Hold on, let me write another edition.
Oh, we love
This
you.
is why we love you, dear boy.
But yeah, no, looked gorgeous, great use
Yeah.
of colour and all that kind of stuff and visuals, but also shot really, really well. So much of just, like, to shoot that many cast. This is probably the best cast stunt sequence I've ever seen, full stop.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff gets talked about with sort of Ronin. Is it Ronin?
Ronin.
Yeah, Ronin. Yeah, Ronin. Rolling. Keep rolling. But yeah, obviously there's a lot of films and Bullet and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
Gone in
is
30 seconds.
60 seconds.
60 seconds. Yeah, that's a
30
great film
seconds
as
is just unreasonable.
Alright. No, I'm not going there.
But yeah, this is it's one ginormous car chase, and it's a phenomenal one, and there's lots of amazing crashes and very well orchestrated things, and stunning
as a
visuals.
stunt sequence is really well choreographed,
Yeah.
and then really well shot to get all of that across, and to be able to see every important thing as you need to see it in a way that is dynamic and interesting each time, and doesn't become. It's a 2-hour long stunt sequence,
Yeah.
and it doesn't.
Yeah.
I didn't find it become boring or repetitive. That
Okay.
stunt sequence anyway. Like it just there was always something new they did.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought that was really, really good. And particularly, the thing that did actually stand out to me the most was the sound mix
Okay.
and just the sound production in general. There was loads of really clever little bits of sound design. 2 bits that really stood out to me as remembering was there's a shot, there's a section where they're by the truck. There's a light there. It's at the night thing, and there's a truck coming towards them with a spotlight on, just spraying towards them.
Yeah.
And he's sniping. He's aiming down the sights to take it out. But Furiosa comes along instead. Rests the gun on his shoulder. Uses
On Max's
him
shoulder, yeah.
as sort of a
Stabilizer.
stabilizer. I'm so confused. Someone's saying spoiler. We did the spoiler warning.
Hang on,
ages ago.
no. I think it might be Formula One stuff again. Oh no, maybe not.
No, yeah.
Oh no.
He's saying I have not seen Mad Max. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Spoilers.
Spoiler.
Leaning, using the gun as the turret, takes the shot. Cool sequence, but the sound design there is so good with how it builds the tension, reduces the sound at just the right moment to take the shot, and then you get this ringing sound.
Tinnitus,
The
tinnitus. I can't remember how you say it.
Tinnitus, I think.
And like
Archer.
just little subtle things like that work really, really well because really something like that is out of place in that context. Like there are people doing tinnitus as a sound in film in the past. That's not a new thing, but it's normally done in a way where it's because they want you to have that feeling of
disorientation.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
And there's no reason for you to have that feeling of disorientation. That's not what they're doing. They're just putting you in that frame of Max, which is it's really, really clever. I really like it.
That's fair.
And the other sound bit that stood out, and this will be something that I know the three of you wouldn't have noticed because you don't have the setup for it, but the surround sound mix is stunning. It's such a good use of space and spectrum and stereo field where everything is kind of around you all the time. So, which is obviously what stereo surround sound does, but a lot of films just do that as in there's a bullet that's gone thung, and you hear a little ting behind you or stuff like that, and most of it do it quite basically. This did a really good job of putting things around you, and in car chase sequences, hearing cars coming up behind you and being able to place them before they come into shot. Especially they did a lot of shots where they had like a static camera. One of the opening shots of the film, was it a static camera of someone's car, which then drives off, and then that camera does not move, and you're in nothing, and then cars come behind you.
The
surround sound mix of that, you can just hear them gearing up, and it's so subtle. It's not like it's suddenly they're there. It's like, oh, there's something gearing up. There it is. Like, really, really good.
That poor gecko, by the way, in that first scene.
I know. I know.
Man's got a munch.
Weird two-headed gecko in here. And then the other one, surround sound, again at the beginning, there's a bit where they're doing this kind of sequence where Mad Max is doing a voiceover. So typically in surround sound mixing, because you have a front speaker, then two more side front speakers, two at the rear, and if you're 7.1, another two on the sides. Typically a surround sound mix puts dialogue in the front center. That's normally where dialogue is, so it's in line with your characters you're looking at, and it might pan it a little bit if one character's off to one side of the screen. So if anyone was watching us right now and this had a surround sound mix, you might find that Jack is a little bit more, his sound is coming a little bit more out of his side of the screen, closer to him than Charlie. Stuff like that, right? What this did is, on that section, and it was good because it was cutting in between the dubbed audio for a VO and diegetic sound for what we were seeing on screen, but the dubbed audio for the VO was right in the centre of the room. Not in the centre of the screen. It put you in, so it sounded like you were inside his head. And it's really cool little subtle sound design things that when you're watching with, and I know not everyone gets to do that, but obviously in a cinema you'd be in that experience, and if you've got an appropriate setup at home, you'll get it. Much like if you were wearing it, with surround sound audios and stuff like that. You should definitely. Everyone should invest in surround sound. It's not that expensive.
You heard the man. Let's get one.
And it changes things. Your living room setup, by the way, you've got great space in your living room to have a good surround sound setup. I'll sort you out.
Thank you.
Just a rabbit hole for a moment. Just in terms of that
on
sort
this
of audio,
channel.
Yeah, exactly. In on the sort of 3D sound and everything, have any of you played? Are we just going to wait for it to fall? Good.
All right.
You're playing. Has anybody played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice?
I've not played that. No.
You need to, on the basis of that 3D audio,
absolutely no
because it's phenomenal. So for those who don't know, it's a game about essentially a Viking warrior type character, but she's got schizophrenia, and she has voices in her head through schizophrenia, and you can hear them if you're wearing the headsets, and the 3D sound is phenomenal. It makes it sound like it's in your head.
It's creepy.
It's phenomenal.
I've heard that before, but that's kind of like what I'm getting at. This film does that kind of thing.
Good thing is it's on Game Pass. You should
the film does that kind of thing, and films have done that in the past. But this, because it ticks so many of those boxes and it thinks about so many of those things from a production point of view, that's why I think it is just particularly good and is a masterclass in doing. Here's how we do a really good action film that immerses you and creates these cool experiences whilst you're watching it. and all you're supposed to do is walk away from that going, wow, that was big. And that's all it's really ever supposed to do.
For sure.
And
It wasn't
does it
setting out to
very,
move
very
you
well.
in any
No,
way or
not at all.
try and make
it's
you
just
have
supposed to be a
a...
thrilling 2 hours of excitement and adrenaline, and it is because it does all of those things to such a high standard.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And then, even moving on from that and just talking about the choreography of all the stunts, what have you. You
So, yeah, no,
I
I want to hear your thoughts on the production because obviously, you've not spoken for a while, and this
Sorry.
is your film. No, it's all right. That's good.
To be fair, this was pretty much all I thought this episode was going to be.
Exactly.
Me just listening to Kristian gush and me go, yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
come on.
Yes.
Give us your 2 cents.
In terms of production, I have nothing else to add.
It's weird, isn't it?
The one thing I like about surround sound, Lizzie put in the chat, it's gone there, but you're paying. We're getting married next year, Lizzie. We'll stick it on the gift list.
Yeah, that's fair. I think she meant that Kristian was paying.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I will point out, because I get told a lot when I talk to people about surround sound, it's too expensive. It's not. You can get really good surround sound systems for not much money if you're smart with where you look. Mine was £250.
Is that it?
And you've sat and watched films with it's a very good sound system. As long as you spend the time in setting it up properly and think about what you're putting in the room.
I would get one, but
No,
my room's a weird shape.
That's more of a fair problem, is a room being a weird shape. But you've got a
we've
good
got perfect
space.
setup for that.
Like, you
We've
can
got
have a
really
really
good
good
setup for
surround sound.
Because I would have to have the speakers in front of me over there,
Yeah.
a little bit off to the right,
Sure.
and then the speakers behind me. So
And
it'd just
mine
be
isn't ideal because my rear speakers are quite close to me.
yeah.
And also, your TV's over in the corner, isn't it? So rather than it sort of being
Yeah, but my so
So
I've
if it's-
I've got it set
yeah.
up. So because everything's kind of all aligned in central with each other. So it works.
But yeah, in terms of like, production, I think Kristian has said everything.
I am a sound salesman. Just want to
yeah,
point
that's
that out.
100%.
By a salesman, you mean you sell sound stuff,
Okay, make
not
very
sound
decent
like
sound.
cargo sound. Mate.
Oh, quite sound.
Yeah, you are. Quite.
You make a lot of sound. It's like yeah, fair enough. Right, yeah. So come on, anything else to say on it?
Not in terms of production, but in terms of choreography, we're kind of under the same bracket.
Yeah, good.
So-
Let's go for it.
All of it. Fuck me.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many cars they destroyed. Lots.
Many.
Lots.
Many.
Lots of them. Because
Including Max's.
And yes, that car. R.I.P. Just 'cause they clearly spent so much goddamn time on this. Everything, you're never lost. Which in a film like this, like even watching Fast and Furious, as much as I enjoy watching those trash, that trash is so hard to follow what the hell you're even meant to be watching, and you're just like, what just happened? Oh, they're on a plane. When did they get a plane? What? Who's that? But everything you can just follow along, and it's also cool. It's also just so much of it is just new as well. You never get that. The whole people pinging over, and I mentioned it earlier, pinging over on essentially pole vaults, just leaning into
Grabbing someone.
someone's like newly made convertible, and just got.
And the noose around Furiosa's neck as well.
Yeah,
That
coming
was-
in, doing the noose, and then just all of it with the. I loved the
spears with the
spears
explosives.
with the explosives on the end, and particularly those slow motion shot of the "witness me" and then just jumping off with two in each hand. I was like, "There's a more productive way to do that," like this, for example.
Yeah.
But it's all just very, very good, and the stunts people did not get paid enough. I can imagine. They might have done.
I did have a little giggle with myself at one point when they were all driving
George, I want to
through
come on to
desert.
that in a bit.
Loads and loads and loads of cars driving, and I did think, I was like, God, because it kind of made that it was Jack's film I was watching, and I hope a deer jumps out of one of my other cars.
Oh, good God.
I really did.
He's going to have it on the front like a blood bag. A blood bank, sorry. You can't get out of the... You can't... You literally... This room is not big enough for you to get out of the shot.
You can have my knee. I did it.
Get back in here.
Charlie, fuck yourself.
So Hannah's basically said they were Cirque du Soleil performers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I love how Hannah's done more research into this film than I have.
I mean, I feel like that's the case most weeks. Hannah does better research than we do.
Of course.
On our films.
Of course. It's to be expected now.
Yeah, Jack's the only one wearing trousers.
None of the rest of us are.
Damn, I revealed.
No, you
By
didn't.
not
That's the point,
revealing,
yes. Just because come back to choreography in a second, but there is a question that I had actually on my list of bits. But the crow people that were in the green area, why? What? Huh? Do we know? Do we?
They were the.
Welcome to my brain.
From what I gather, they were just a couple of the many mothers, because that's where their green place was, and it was. All I took it from it is a marshland now. That's the easiest way to walk around, which is not
fair.
true. Probably, there's a reason for it, I guarantee. But I'm just like, it's a marshland. They would sink if they didn't do that. There are definitely easier ways, like
Two
the
spears
cars.
with grenades? No, hang on.
Just try and take a step. Bang. Oh no.
No, that's right. It's just
Yeah, I
it was a
don't really
bit of a weird thing. I think it was this time round that I did actually kind of go, oh, that was supposed to be the green land, because I obviously lost the plot on the first time I watched it around. But yeah, that was supposed to be the green land that the girls were travelling to, and that was all fine. But yeah, it just sort of seemed a little bit odd.
It was really weird. I do admit it's a bit strange that was never really brought up in any way, but that's just. I just took it as those were some of the many mothers who were just weird anyway. I texted Kristian yesterday, and he didn't quite grab the context. I just said vaginal rope burn.
It's because you didn't give me any context.
I was talking about Mad Max, and then said it. So in context, for those who don't get the context either, there is a woman completely naked at the top of a tower. Just go, help me, help me. Max is like, this is a trap. Furiosa tells them all who she is, and she slides down a rope, properly tucked in there, completely naked. And with experience sliding down a rope, not naked, you burn.
Yeah.
Burn in all the places it's near.
Yeah.
So George has just given us an actual reasoning.
This is as the green place became a toxic quagmire, the most efficient way to get across it was on stilts from tree to tree. Their clothes are made of crow feathers and netting. George Miller, director of Happy Feet.
Oh, okay. The rope lowers her, she doesn't slide down it.
I mean, that ruins Jack's jokes, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
She's sitting on a knot, is she?
Surely that would be even more unpleasant.
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't sound...
I mean, unpleasant?
Vaginal rope burn, move on.
Yeah, that's it.
Less.
Very much so. Good. Everything was choreographed very well. I thought it was an awesome display. I really like sort of hot roddy type cars, and I've been to some of the stuff at Brands Hatch where those kinds of cars appears sometimes.
Did any of them have spikes on them?
Yeah, I think they probably... Yeah, I think one or two. Just
Excellent.
As in, like, for show purposes, obviously. Not just getting down the M25.
Sitting on a knot makes it sound like bestiality, does it?
Do you know what bestiality is?
Right, no.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a line. I'm drawing a line.
Bestiality,
Let's not talk about that. Yeah, 100%. Right, so...
Poor Sid.
Siri. No.
You don't know what's going on underneath that circle.
Some people like rope, but yes, I think the choreography, obviously, with a completely different style of choreography for
This
a completely different style of.
conversation needs to end.
That's why I've tried to end it, and
Have
you've
you seen
interrupted
what
me.
Hannah has put?
Stop it.
Move on.
Right, let's not interact. Yes, dear boy.
I've forgotten now. You've fucked me up.
No, I haven't.
No, not you. Him.
Oh, I don't think this is there, come on.
No.
Charles, you'll be asked to leave.
I'm gonna do
You
that.
did. We had moved on.
Right, so...
Ruining my movie.
I mean, we've ruined Kristian, for starters.
Choreography is really fucking good, even though it's a different kind of movie. I like it because it's as good as John Wick. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, fair enough. That's good.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm sulking now.
I agree with that. It's a sentiment.
It is indeed a sentiment.
Yes, everything's a sentiment.
Everything's a thing.
I have no idea
Thank
what
you
time-
for
what
your
time- oh, okay,
wisdom.
cool, yeah.
There's plenty more where that came from, mate.
Right.
Right, I'm going to timecode this as closing thoughts.
I was going to say, anybody anything else to say, because that's it.
Please don't. But we would never.
No, you're too important to our streams, Hannah.
You'd have to do something real bad.
Don't challenge it!
No!
It wasn't a challenge.
No, good.
It was an advisory.
Yes. Right, anyway, has anybody got anything else they want to say about the film?
It's real good.
It's real good. Okay. Yeah, it's good.
That wasn't what you said at the beginning. You had a real turn.
No, I said it's good.
By the way, which just sings praises to Martin Jack's ability to sell a film. Next one, the people who make Mad Max should pay us to advertise it. So they should do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't my cup of tea, but there are things I enjoyed about it, and I'm glad I watched it. So,
Good.
cheers.
Good.
And to be fair, look, like I had a great time. I enjoyed it, and I've sat here and praised so many things about it. But at the same time, it's not the sort of film I'd go, I'm going to watch that again now. Like there will be a mood where it's like, I'm in the mood to watch some cool action. Mad Max, and
that's what it is for me as well.
John Wick and Bourne films and arguably
Bourne films I can't watch
stuff
anymore.
Like so,
No, I can't watch Bourne films anymore.
Isn't like the shaky cam?
Yeah, it's too much shaky cam. You can't see what's going on.
What I would quite happily just go and watch is making of.
Oh yeah.
Making of this would be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I would very much watch that. I just love a good old making of, even if it's nothing that's been particularly mind blowing. I just love a good old making of.
I still need to watch the WandaVision one.
Yeah, WandaVision one's good. I watched the
And
Faust one. I watched the Faust. Faust.
Indeed. Can I just quickly say, so obviously we'll come on to this at some point anyway, so I'm going to bring it forward. We need to talk about the fifth film, so we need you guys to help us with that. Obviously we've asked you previously, you've come up with some good suggestions. I think one of the reasons why I want to do it now is just in case Extreme Sports does just a vanishing act again. So Extreme Sports, we'd like your input as well, but we just need a fifth film to do. So it's not next week because that's Hook. And then no, you can't spam the vote again. Sam's just coming with, can I spam the vote again? Sam, your one at the moment is a real good strong possibility, which was Blade. Obviously we've got The Big Lebowski, we've got Jurassic Park,
and then Army of the Dead as well.
Yeah, Hannah said about Army of the Dead, Pacific Rim.
I'll add it to the list, can't
Yeah, we'll add it to the list, but we'll add it to the
It'll
list.
turn into a poll anyway, so it will be voted on by everybody. Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Job.
We've got this.
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
We've got Jurassic Park on there. Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely. Hannah also says Parasite. Would you rather put Parasite or Army of the Dead?
And it's fine. Nathan was saying that it's got a kick-ass soundtrack, or did he want us to review the soundtrack to the film Kick-Ass?
So confused.
I'm very confused indeed.
The only thing with Heat, is it not like 7 million hours long?
Oh, if we want to do that, let's watch Cleopatra.
Let's not.
No, there's definitely
I
not.
thought it was
Cleopatra
amazing.
coming at you. Don't make me watch it. Yeah, no, I
Well, don't
wanna-
vote on it then.
I don't want to watch that, in all fairness.
No, neither do
I
I.
don't think even Hannah wants to watch it again. Hannah, what was your review of that film? Was it any good? Because I don't think it was.
That was many messages. We missed all of those.
It does not
does it-
warrant an hour's conversation.
Okay,
It
good.
did not warrant a 2.5 hour film.
Is it 2.5 hours long?
In which case, delete.
Yeah.
And then Parasite
Okay,
shall
thanks,
be
Hannah.
added
Yeah,
in
that-
its place.
Hannah, that'd be great if you just stick
Written in
something
the
there, 'cause
Discord,
I'd be interested.
lovely. That would be good too.
It was a fun movie though. Okay.
So far, our list for your entries is Big Lebowski, Blade, Jurassic Park, Parasite, and Pacific Rim. Any other suggestions? Throw them in. Oh,
All right, I'm going to head out. Right.
just
okay.
ignore our question.
Okay.
Outrageous.
But can
Also,
you,
thank you for joining.
Loki very soon.
Yeah.
Loki is very soon.
But again, thank you again, Extreme Sports. It is honestly a pleasure having you on here. But please make a suggestion of a film. Just something that you think would be good to add into the mix. But yeah, and also please.
If not, I'll pick another one.
Is he in Discord? He's Train Sports.
No, he's not.
Nope.
That's what we're trying to get him to do.
Join the Discord. It's in our Twitch bio. If you go in there, it's in there. It's also in the link tree.
Yeah. But thanks again for joining.
Absolutely. This has been Admit One, your weekly movie and TV podcast, right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing is watching us. You can follow us on Twitter at @rabbithole_UK. You can follow us on YouTube, where you can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch at Rabbit Hole Media, and you can subscribe and follow our multiple different podcast services on and around the internet.
Indeed.
that was terrible. That one didn't go so well.
That was.
Now you see me. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? That's a really good film.
I'll add it to the
Oh,
list.
yeah.
I'll add it to the list.
Has
I
anyone
would
not
have
seen that?
No,
I've seen it.
So much to say about that film.
Didn't
Okay.
the second one.
That's a very,
have
very good shout.
Seen it.
You
Well,
it is.
okay.
Yeah.
Indeed. And now you can follow us on Instagram at rabbitholemedia_UK for all the behind the scenes tits and bits. If you want to support us, head to merch.rabbitholemedia.co.uk where you can buy a wide range of merchandise that has recently got wider. And finally, if you are watching us live on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you get one free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your hearts to give that membership to us. It doesn't cost you a penny, but goes a long way into bringing you the man-child that is Richard Hill. And all of us, to be fair. I won't pin that entire. I will not pin that just on Rich.
glass houses and all that, mate.
I'm fully prepared to have a stone thrown back, my friend. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. We shall be back immediately, essentially, in about 5 minutes or so with this week's episode of Press Start. Come back on Tuesday at 8 p.m. for the presumably finale of Halo
Should be the
2.
yeah.
Come back on Thursday to watch Kristian and I defecate in our own undergarments on Resident Evil Village. And then next weekend will be Admit 1 and
Thank you,
Press
Sammy.
Start.
Fuck you.
Again.
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm looking forward to Halo. That's going to be good.
Yeah, so it should be the final episode of Halo 2.
Yep.
If we don't have
We should do a video of us all going da-da-da-da to the Halo theme tune as well. Not now.
Sounds like a very niche live stream.
Oh, that's the Resident Evil one.
Yes, the self-defecation. Yes.
In Press Start, we're going to talk about the fact that I've got a PlayStation 5.
Spoilers for a podcast. I don't know how you can spoil a podcast, but you just managed it.
But do actually, please, I asked you last week and you all fucked off. Stay around for Press Start because it's really good fun. It's more of this. We're all in the same room. Rich is just as high. So make sure, on live, just to clarify. So, and we got some really genuinely interesting topics to talk about this week.
Yeah.
So, and I genuinely mean interesting topics. So. Stick around, we'll be disappearing for 5 minutes while we do a set change, and by a set change I mean get a drink and change the background and we'll be in different seats because I'm a moron. But please make sure you join us for it, it would mean a lot. And you'd enjoy it.
Thanks, Sammy.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.